So to give you some context, my work involves me going to different properties and cleaning up their yard, any kind of mess, any kind of growth. So if there's weeds that need to be pulled, I can on my hands and knees, do the dirty work. And I went to this one place that's not too far from our house, and to give you some context, I hadn't slept that night very well. I think I was ill, and I'm not sure what it was, but it was keeping me up, and I couldn't sleep well, and my energy levels were down completely. And I think this is probably why this happened, why I reacted the way I did in this situation. But I was making my way across the yard, and I finished the front section. I moved around to the side, finished that. It was pretty quick, pretty easy. The progress was going steady. And I made it to the back, and the bed that I was cleaning extended into this canopy, into this large structure. It's like a sunroom kind of. It's made out of glass panels. It has a little roof over it that's also see-through. And there's a section under this extended roof that was hanging out over this structure. And as soon as I made my way over there, there's a little bumblebee. This little black and yellow retard, bumblebee, came out of the canopy and started hovering about 4 feet away from me, maybe 3 in the air, just in one spot, just hovering there, like in one spot, not moving. So I sat back. I'm like, "What's up? Like, what's going on?" It looked like he was kind of curious why I was approaching his territory. So, I started trying to figure out what's going on. Am I encroaching on his private property or whatever's going on? Because what I suspected initially was that I was invading his personal zone, and he didn't really like that. So I started sort of, trying to question him, figure out what's going on, and he seemed to, after a little while, I think he sort of figured out that I wasn't really going to do him any harm, so he started moving away, but he wasn't quite sure, so he came back to check on me every once in a while. And this continued for about 5 minutes, so after me slowly, I would wait for him to scoot away for a bit. He would go fly to the other side of the canopy to continue on with his daily proceedings. And I would quickly jump in and start pulling as many weeds as I can before he got back, and then I would stop and just chill out when he came back to check on me. I don't think he caught me. I think I got away with that part. But then I sort of got a little fed up with him and just started making my way through the rest of the canopy. Through the rest of the bed. And when I got about halfway through, he didn't really like that I was moving closer and closer into his zone, and he caught me. So he started flying around behind me, would zoom past my head, sit on the other side of my head about a foot away from me, then zoom past again and just kind of try to figure out what's going on. So he was trying to scare me off. He was using intimidation tactics, telling me, hey, you better, wrap things up. Like, let's just wrap the whole thing up, really, and keep it moving. I don't want you at my place right now. And I was stubborn and clearly sleep deprived and sick, so I just decided to, with this bumblebee hanging about, at this point, like sometimes half a foot from my face, just continued pressing on and clearing out these weeds. And then I think the ops called in some kind of strike because a couple minutes later, 2 big dragonflies showed up. And this bumblebee came up to the roof where they were to check out what was going on, and they started sort of sparring, right? And I think my homie died because a little while later I heard the buzzing stop for a second, and then a big clunk right on the roof, and it was this beautiful dance that was going on. The bumblebee would swoop in between them, the dragonflies would separate, and then they would come back, and they were kind of flying around each other and permeating the air above the roof, and then the buzzings died, and then I heard a clunk, So I think my boy got, I think my boy got murked. You know, I don't think he stood up to those, because I only heard one drop, and that bumblebee didn't bother me again. So you know, shout out to my boys, the dragonflies, for keeping it real, keeping it safe on the streets.